With the launch of the brand new Brick 600 colors, it is time to show you 5 unique ways to use Brick 600 by Siser. Now before we dive in, we are going to start from the basics and use Brick 600 as a standalone product. Not only will this show you the power and dimensions of Brick, but it will also help set the foundation for the 5 methods in this video. And as a reminder, if you want to skip ahead to the other methods in this video, simply pull the playhead along the section that you would like to start, or check the chapters listed below in the description. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So let's get started. We're coming up on Brick 600 by itself. To start, we are going to need a design, and to do this, we can either import a design into our software of choice, or we can find a design within our software's design library, or wherever you get your designs from. With your design ready to send, we are going to send it to our cutting machine to be cut with either a 60-degree blade for my professional cutters, like our Romeo, Juliet, Roland, or a Graphtec, or a deep cut blade for all of my craft user friends using a Cricut, a silhouette style cutting machine. Once your design is cut, it is time to weed out your design. With your design cut and weeded, we can now move on to the application. Now start by pre-pressing your garment to ensure that you are releasing as much moisture as possible, then place your design. Next, press your Brick 600 design with medium pressure at 310 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 seconds. Lastly, be sure to peel the carrier cold, and then there you have it. Brick 600 offers an incredible high-density finish, which can be expensive to achieve with other decoration methods like screen printing, or not possible through other decoration methods such as DTF or DTG printing. Now that we have laid the foundation for using Brick 600, let us take it one step further with some other cool ways to use Brick. The embossed method offers a finish. Bobby. Wow, I already screwed it up for you guys the first time, so this is my second attempt. The embossed method offers a finish that will stand out by mimicking an embossed effect. Now to accomplish this incredible finish, we will need Brick 600, Easy Weed Eco Stretch, a design, and it is best to use a conventional heat press, as results will vary with a craft style heat press like a Cricut Easy Press or Home Iron in this case. In our software of choice, start by importing your design or selecting one from your design library. Next, we are going to be adding an additional layer that will cover our brick design. You see, Easy Weed Eco Stretch is a pliable heat transfer material. When heat is applied to the material, it will stretch into the cavities of the brick design and adhere directly to the garment. Now to accomplish this effect, we will need to add an additional contour layer to our artwork. Find the Build Cut Contours tool in your software of choice and create an offset or outbound contour, and the size of your contour is subject to user preference. Note, it is important not to include holes or cavities in this new layer of Eco Stretch. Now send your project to be cut with the recommended cut settings available at either CaesarNA.com or by downloading the Siser North America mobile app. Once we have our 2 layers cut and weeded, we will now apply our brick layer first. Once in place, press your brick layer for about 8 seconds, which will allow the brick to adhere to the garment and release from the static carrier sheet. Next, place your Eco Stretch layer on top of your brick layer, but be sure to line up your stretch layer so that the contour is even all around the edges of your design. The last 2 steps in this process are the most important, so pay close attention. Using the 1-second tack method, press your Eco Stretch layer for 1 to 2 seconds, then peel the carrier off hot. What you will notice is that your material will be released from your carrier sheet, but is not fully applied. So take your design and flip it face down on the rubber lower platen of your heat press and increase the pressure until you feel a little more resistance when closing your press, then apply for 10 seconds. This can also be done by placing your design on a pressing pillow and applying with medium pressure. And there you have it, a premium look that will make any design a conversation piece. And as a note, this method works fantastic as well with our Easy Color Direct to Vinyl, which is our at-home DTF solution. Non-slip socks. Non-slip socks. For this method, we are going to need our favorite Brick 600 color, a cutting machine or hole punch, and a pair of comfortable socks. Okay, a pair of them. For this method, we're going to need one. Okay, the first step is to get an idea of the space that you will be applying to, and this will allow you to make a quick template in your software of choice to help set up your artwork to fit any size socks that you choose. To make a template, create a box and set the horizontal and vertical measurements to the appropriate size. Now this will allow you to keep your design within the boundaries of what you are applying to make the application a little easier. Next, cut and weed your design. And a pro tip in Leonardo Design Studio, use a weeding box when sending your artwork to be cut. This will create a score line around your design and make lining up your design an absolute breeze. And another non-cutter method to create non-slip surface is grab a hole punch in either a simple circle or a fun shape if one's available to you, and then hole punch about 8 to 10 pieces of Brick 600 per sock, depending on the size of the socks and the size of your hole punch. Once we get to the application method, it is as simple as pressing your socks for 5 to 8 seconds, then placing your design or individual pieces of brick to be heat applied with a heat press or home iron. If using a heat press, be sure to apply Brick 600 at 310 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. And if you're using a Cricut Easy Press, be sure to increase the temperature around 20 to 30 degrees to compensate for any inaccuracies of the heat display. Once you have applied your design, allow 5 to 10 seconds off the press to allow your material to cool before removing the carrier. And just like that, you have a comfortable and stylish non-slip surface, all made possible with the power of Brick 600. Creating a stamp can be an effortless way to sign documents, create labels, and so much more. And making a stamp can be a process to create. However, with the depth of Brick 600, you can create a custom stamp fast and long lasting. Now to start, it is important to have a design with detail, as it will enhance the finished look of your finished product. Now for this method, you will need a Brick 600, a piece of wood, and size depends on the design that we're using, a cutting machine, some stamping ink, a hard roller or brayer, and then some cardstock just so we can practice this method. Now start by cutting and weeding your design, but be sure to leave your brick layer unmirrored before cutting. Now a pro ship, when you throw your line out there, you want to make sure your bobber's on it.
Stop it. Get some help.
A pro tip, be sure to test cut your Brick 600 material to ensure that you are cutting all the way through the material. As Brick 600 is thicker, then it does require a deeper cut than the traditional easy weed or iron-on materials. Next, we are going to take our piece of wood that will act as a solid base for our design and place it onto our heat press of choice, which can be done either with a home iron or traditional style heat press. Because we are heat applying our brick material to a firm surface, you will need to make a couple minor adjustments by reducing the pressure on your press to accommodate the thickness of your wood and Brick 600. With the wood board on the bottom platen, close the press and decrease the pressure until the upper platen is hovering over the board without making contact. Then increase the pressure until you have even light pressure across the entire upper platen of your heat press. Next, we are going to heat apply our design and using a lower temperature of just 280 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 seconds will give us a great press without scorching or flattening our design during the application process. Now that we have our negative image, we can now grab our favorite color of ink and a brayer. Coat your brayer with ink, then roll the ink onto your Brick 600 design until it's fully coated, or simply press it into a stamping pad of your choice. Now, pro tip, in testing we found that most inks will work, but some inks do show better than others, so be sure to do some testing on your own to find the best inks for you. And the last step and the most satisfying step of this method is the application. Take your design with ink and then place it on top of your substrate, then press firmly on the board, and be sure to do this all around the design to ensure that you get full coverage of your print. Now peel the board from the print, and there you have it. Another reason to try Brick 600. All right, we're good. It's just the way my brain processes, sorry. Now we all know that you can use Brick 600, however, with it being a top layer only product, we are going to be using the fake layering method to accomplish this technique. So for this next method, I'm actually gonna show you this process using 2 colors of Brick 600, a substrate of your choice, and a preferred cutting software. Inside Leonardo Design Studio, I'm going to bring in a design that will work with more than one color layer. And in this case, I'm simply gonna use the Siser logo, which is red and white. Once my design is on my main design page, I'm going to simply knock out the top layer from the bottom layer with the remove front tool, or as some of you may know it as the slice or knockout. This process will create a 2-color layer where one layer is the offset or outer color of our design, and the other being the inset layer or layer that will be placed inside of our outer color layer. Once our 2 layers are cut and weeded, the next and final steps are to apply our design starting with the outside contour first, which will allow us to center our design easier and give an inset layer a perfect mold to fit directly into. To apply this design, be sure to pre-press your substrate for about 5 to 10 seconds. Next, you will apply your first layer for around 6 seconds, then cool off the press before peeling. When we get to the second and last layer of this design, we will simply fit the inset piece directly into the cavity of the offset piece of our design, then press for 10 seconds. And just like that, you've created a simple 2 or more color raised design that's technically still only 1 layer. In the back of my brain, I can feel you laughing about it, and then I can also hear my brain going, ha 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 ha, but I didn't want to acknowledge it. Yeah, sometimes you gotta just
Not listen to the voices in your head.
This 5th and final method is my absolute favorite because there's no better way to promote your business or craft, show your home team support, or mark a special occasion in your life. And regardless of how you express yourself, this method is all about keychains. And yes, I said it, keychains. And also yes, we are going to use Brick 600. And the most important part of this process is to ensure that you have a cool design, Brick 600, and a key ring. That's it. For this method, it is important to show you how to set this project up in your software of choice. Start by importing a design, or in this case, simply use a font of choice with your favorite team or athlete's name or number. Next, we are going to find the Build Contours tool and create an offset that is a solid layer, so be sure not to include holes or cavities in this layer. After you've created your contour, the next step is to create a hole where the keychain will pass through. And to do this the simple way, you can create 2 circles, with one being a little larger than the other. Center both shapes, both vertically and horizontally, and with the smaller shape being in front of the larger shape, then select Remove Front or Knockout. This will create a ring that we can now put in place on our larger back layer, then weld those 2 layers together, creating a base to our keychain with the included keyring hole. After you have created the 2 layers, size your image and then create a duplicate of your 2 separate layers. Once a duplicated layer is created, the last step in software is to mirror your new layers vertically, then send your design to be cut. Once our pieces are cut and weeded, start applying your design by aligning the 2 larger pieces or back layers of our keychain together, then heat applying with light to medium pressure for around 6 seconds at 305 degrees Fahrenheit. Note, Brick 600 can be layered in cases where the garment or item will not be washed, as this can cause the layers to split. Once we let this layer cool down and peel the carrier, we can now, starting with one side at a time, apply your top layer at the same time and temperature. Then flip our keychain over and repeat this step on the back side of our keychain. And just like that, you created a memory that will last forever. The world of customization is endless, and with finishes and textures that you can achieve from heat transfer materials, and in this case Brick 600, you never know where your creativity will take you. And with that said, thank you guys for watching.